speak, to gun violence and not before. The second thing is that these people concentrate on gun violence. Apparently, they don't care about violence from other sources, which means that we can be terrorized in any other form, but when it comes to guns, they'll be, boy, Johnny on the spot, won't they?
That's a good point, Leno. And as far as the president talking about, other nations and how we compare to other nations and the violence we have, I mean, do you want to trade place with some of the things that are going on in these other nations, whether it be parts of Europe or France or anything like that? I mean, whoever the father that gave him, the son, access to the weapon shouldn't have. Whatever drug this Dylan Roth was on, how did he get it? That should be checked. I mean, there's a number of different people that are culprits here, and never mind whatever racist beliefs this killer loser had. What do you think? 1-855-400-SAVAGE. There's also a huge debate right now that he should be deemed, he's a terrorist is what he is. And I even heard someone earlier on television saying he should be charged with terrorism charges. And how come the white media is not calling him a terrorist? I don't know, because he just seems like a deranged lone wolf who went off for whatever reason. We don't know enough about him. Let's go to line 4. Tom is listening on WJR in Detroit. Tom, this is John DePietro, and you're up next on the Savage Nation. Hello, Tom.
Hi, John. I just wanted to mention one of the first bits of information I got regarding this tragedy. I seen on the internet where the police chief had labeled this guy a right-wing conservative type. This guy had not even been arrested yet, okay? And this police chief was making this assumption. That scares me a little bit. The other point I wanted to make is that this is what I would call the perfect poker hand for the Obama administration, because it continues the racial strife and tension in this country, and it also gives them a little bit of no pun intended, but ammunition to further the gun ban and what might be coming. And it just seems to me like at least part of this was staged. Not going out on a limb saying that, but certainly, I mean, it's
staged, Tom. I mean, come on. I don't. No, I don't. Every time something like this happens, people immediately start saying it was staged. Stage? Who in their right? I don't believe that. I mean, who in their right mind? I don't go along with any of that. 9/11's a conspiracy. All this other stuff. Did they put a chip in this guy's head? I mean, I don't believe that. No, there were a group of people that gathered for a Bible study meeting, and a deranged, lunatic lone gunman came in and killed them for no reason. A completely senseless murder. They died a horrific, brutal, horrifying death, and these were the type of people, it sounds like, that were the type of people that you want in a community. They never mind, they're in the middle of a Bible study meeting. So no, I don't believe that it was planned. 1-855-400-SAVAGE is our phone number. You can disagree. I don't mind people calling and disagreeing. 1-855-400-7282. Let's go to line 1. Chris is calling on WBAP in Fort Worth. And Chris, from what I understand, you know a little something about this drug.
Yes, John. I actually am a pharmacist up in North Texas. And for the most part, I assume what they're associating is violence and violent outbursts, which is indicative somewhat of the drug. But as of every drug, you hear in a commercial that there's a list of side effects, and aggression is most likely going to be on the list. So I don't think you can really associate what happened this time with that. That said, I really don't know if they've done a toxicology report on this individual as of yet. I believe his name is Dylan. So I really think it's just one way to sensationalize the story even more, just with more noise. Not just he killed someone, but he's a drug addict, he's a racist. It's all these things, sensationalizing it. A topic where it doesn't really need it. He killed 9 individuals.
Well, I don't know, Chris, if it's not sensationalizing. When something like this happens, he's 21 years old. He didn't know any of them. You're trying to find some kind of motivation for any crime. I mean, you hear something as horrific as this, it's not sensationalizing. You're trying to rationalize what would bring someone to this. So, when we first heard about Sandy Hook, Chris, it was, what could make someone do something like that? And then you learn more about Lanza, and it was on a path where he was so isolated from the world, and the mother was going to have him sent to a special school, and he was just in the basement, and he was also familiar and comfortable handling a weapon like that, he killed her first. I mean, it's not sensationalizing. I mean, but the information that we then learned about it started to come clearer into the picture. So, Chris, wouldn't it make more sense if, in fact, he was someone that maybe had some kind of a drug problem that had a bizarre effect on him?
I definitely agree with that.
All right.
The part that I disagree with is it's hard to really say since we know very little about it.
We are going to learn about it, though, Chris. Thank you for the call. I mean, we are going to learn about it. But when someone comes in like this, when you look at the gunman that was involved with shooting Congressman Gabby Giffords, I mean, as soon as you looked at him, he had that deranged look in his eye. And then the same thing with the gunman in the movie theater in Colorado, dyeing his hair orange, and I'm the Joker. I mean, all you have to do is, what's his name, Holmes? All you have to do is look at him, and then you suddenly realize. But I just wonder, I mean, I know these people are in a Bible study, and maybe they're trying to reach out, and they deal with lost souls. But you take one look at this Dylan Roth, and he comes in with the bowl cut, and he's just sitting there with patches on that have to do with apartheid, and his car's outside has a Confederate flag. I don't know if you just allow him to sit there as you're praying. I think you wouldn't be out of line to be like, can I help you for a moment? Or somebody call someone to, I mean, you should be safe in a church. Don't get me wrong. 1-855-400-SAVAGE. 1-855-400-7282. Again, this is John DePietro sitting in for Dr. Michael Savage, and you are listening to the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust to protect my wealth with gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN.
You're listening to the Savage Nation. This is John DePietro sitting in for Dr. Michael Savage. Our phone number, 1-855-400-SAVAGE. Log on to our website, michaelsavage.com. Out to the phones. Rebecca on line 5 is calling from WMAL in our nation's capital. Rebecca, you're on the Savage Nation. Hello.
Hey, just wanted to say 2 points. One, Mr. Obama is not helping to heal the nation like he could have. I think he has brought racism to the forefront. Again, it hasn't been this bad since the 70s. But I think because he's, going by his old pal Saul Alinsky that he studied under at Columbia, not studied under, but studied all of his writings, as did Hillary Clinton. And, his basic philosophy is to divide and conquer. And that's what Mr. Obama is doing, and I suspect Hillary will continue. I'm also an RN with many years' experience, and I can tell you this kid was just mentally ill. Sadly, for some reason, he levitated to the African-American population, but this guy was mentally ill, just like the guy at Sandy Hook, just like the guy in Colorado at the movie theater. And with the federal government now, CMS, which is the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, they are demanding that all states start emptying their institutions. So you're going to see people roaming in the public that should not be there.
Well, that's something to look forward to. Thank you, Rebecca. All right, more ahead. Again, log on to the website, michaelsavage.com. John DePietro sitting in for Dr. Michael Savage. You're listening to the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Warning: the Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
And you're listening to The Savage Nation. This is John DePietro sitting in for Dr. Michael Savage. You're welcome to call into the program. Just dial 1-855-400-SAVAGE, 1-855-400-7282. You can also log on to our website, which is michaelsavage.com, for all the latest news. You can also, just in time for Father's Day, great Father's Day gift is Countdown to Mecca, the latest novel from Dr. Michael Savage. It's available right now if you log on at michaelsavage.com. Well, the big story, of course, the shooting in Charleston, South Carolina, white suspect arrested in the killing of 9 at the Black U.S. Church. Now, ABC News right now, ABC News is reporting that Dalton Tyler, who said he's known the accused, Dylan Roth, for 7 months to 1 year, said he saw the white 21-year-old suspect just last week. Quote, he was big into segregation and other stuff. He said he wanted to start a civil war. He was going to do something like that and then kill himself. Well, obviously, the coward did not kill himself, accused of killing the 9 people and then caught 4 hours away in North Carolina. Tyler said he met Roth, a Lexington, South Carolina native, through a good friend. He also said Roth's parents, with whom he said the suspect was, quote, on and off, had previously bought him a gun but never allowed him to take it with him until this past week. So the timeline, as we now knew it, Wednesday, around 8 o'clock, 21-year-old Dylan Roth of Lexington, South Carolina, enters the Emmanuel AME Church, began shooting church members. 9 people were killed. He apparently began shooting an hour later, so he's there for an hour. Asked who the pastor was, reloads. They believe the weapon was a .45 caliber that he had been given as a birthday present. Sylvia Johnson, a cousin of church pastor Pickney, who was killed in the attacks, a survivor, told her the gunman reloaded 5 times. Now let's listen. This is Sylvia Johnson. Again, this was a cousin of the pastor. This is what she was told, her recollection of what happened inside that church.
At the conclusion of the Bible study, they just start hearing loud noises just ringing out. And the suspect had already wounded a couple of individuals, one of the survivors, and she said that he had reloaded 5 different times. And her son was trying to talk him out of killing people. And he just said, I have to do it. You rape our women and you taking over our country. And you have to go.
Well, President Obama spoke from the White House.
The fact that this took place in a black church obviously also raises questions about a dark part of our history. This is not the first time that black churches have been attacked. And we know that hatred across races and faiths pose a particular threat to our democracy and our ideals.
Race just continues to dominate. One headline from Politico, Census Bureau considers dropping race from survey. U.S. Census Bureau is experimenting with eliminating the word, quote, race altogether in its 2020 survey. Part of the final research push before finalizing it. Any reference to race or origin. Instead, the form will ask which category describes person 1. Respondents will then be able to choose from the usual list of racial and ethnic categories. Folks, race just continues to dominate. And even another headline from Radar Online, NAACP race faker is in talks for a reality show. Rachel Dolezal stepped down from her job, but Radar Online has learned she already has a new gig in the works, fielding multiple offers to film a reality show, seeking professional representation after her bombshell interview on the Today Show. Bomb is a good word for it. Even Democrat, well, I shouldn't say even, but all